Hello, hello! My name is Callista, and welcome back to Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. In the last episode, Junko called for the final vote. It's Makoto versus Junko, hope versus despair. However, Makoto is not gonna just lay down and die. He is not giving up without a fight. I have to show everyone. I have to make them remember. I have to convince them not to give up. To live in despair. That's not really living at all. Okay. Make your argument. Oh, I don't know.
We won't give up. As long as there's hope, we'll never give up.
If I were to die, that would be the end of Hope's Peak Academy.
I noticed there's 10 minutes for this one.
By the way, the air outside is totally polluted, you know. The only reason we're okay in here is thanks to the air purifiers in the physics lab.
I know what, dude.
The purifiers will screech to a halt.
Fight despair with hope. Okay.
As soon as I die,
I'm gonna have to watch this.
the communal life you've all been living will come to an end.
Meh.
All of you will have to leave. You'll have to go into the world outside, where only death and despair are waiting. So, what are you gonna do? Will you just die? Is that what you want?
I'm just gonna point something out. Okay, we need to convince everyone not to give in to despair, except for Kyoko! Because Kyoko is immune to all of this, because she's the main character. God forbid Kyoko has any flaws. God forbid Kyoko has any flaws for Makoto to point out. Great. This is probably the final episode, and we are starting off strong with me being pissy. Great. Thank you, game. Thank you, game. Oh, Junko, hello. There is no hope left in the world. When you sleep, it's on a bed of despair. The world is in despair. You are in despair. If I don't do something... Oh, shit! Okay. If I don't do something, everyone's gonna be consumed by despair. You claim there's no hope left in the world, but if despair is contagious like you say, then so is hope. I'll use my own hope to plant seeds of hope inside everyone else. Yep.
We won't give up.
I know what to do.
As long as there's hope, we'll never give up.
Yep.
If I were to die, that would be the end of Hope's Peak Academy.
Snap out of it.
Don't lose hope now.
Oh, shit.
All my fortune-telling senses are telling me not to leave this place. But to live means moving forward, right?
That it does.
So even if it's hard, even if we're scared, we don't have any choice, do we? I want to keep on living. I want to open the next door. There must be something new waiting for me. So that's why, no matter what, I need to get out of here.
Attaboy, hero.
The whole fortune-telling thing doesn't matter anymore. What matters is my own gut feelings.
We won't give up.
Okay, one down.
As long as there's hope, we'll never give up.
If I were to die, that would be the end of Hope's Peak Academy.
I've decided to have faith in myself.
Good job.
By the way, the air outside is totally polluted, you know. The only reason we're okay in here is thanks to the air purifiers in the physics lab.
Just make sure.
Don't lose hope now.
I've been thinking about all this. And I was thinking, at a time like this, what would Sakura do?
What would Sakura do? Sakura would beat the shit out of Junko.
You only get stronger by taking adversity by the horns. Confront that thorny path with enthusiasm. That sounds like something she'd say, right?
It does.
No. I think that's definitely what she'd say. Which is why Yeah! I've made up my mind!
We won't give up! As long as there's hope, we'll never give up!
If I were to die, that would be the end of Hope's Peak Academy.
I've decided to have faith in myself.
By the way, the air outside is totally polluted, you know. The only reason we're okay in here is thanks to the air purifiers in the physics lab.
Say whatever you want. I've made my decision.
Good on you,
If I die,
Hina.
the purifiers will screech to a halt. In other words, as soon as I die, the communal life you've all been living will come to an end.
Meh.
Don't lose hope now!
The perfect response.
I don't care either way. I'm fine with whichever one is more interesting. Actually, I may not look like it. I always hated school. Hell, no matter how I look, still hate it. Oh, but no matter what, Master has to come along with us.
We won't give up! As long as there's hope, we'll never give up!
And last
If I were
one.
to die, that would be the end of Hope's Peak Academy.
I've decided to have faith in myself.
By the way, the air outside is totally polluted, you know. The only reason we're okay in here is thanks to the air purifiers in the physics lab.
Say whatever you want. I've made my decision.
If I die, the purifiers will screech to a halt. In other words, as soon as I die, the communal life you've all been living will come to an end.
I can keep on living as long as I have my master's love.
Nice way to be
All of
creepy
you
at the
will have
end.
to leave. You'll have to go into the world outside, where only death and despair are waiting.
Don't lose hope now!
What's the matter? You're not actually trying to encourage me, are you?
Yes. Yes, we are, Byakuya, because of the love we share.
Ridiculous. It never even crossed my mind that I might give in to despair.
Yeah, it did. It totally fucking did. Don't lie.
But don't misunderstand me. I couldn't care in the slightest what happens to you.
Is it bad I'm reading that in a I couldn't care in the slightest what happens to you, Barker? That's how I hear everything he says now.
I just have to keep my word. I swore I would end the life of the mastermind. Besides, the Togami family isn't dead, because I'm still alive. So until I can restore the Togami family and bring it greater glory than it's ever known,
We won't give up!
Oh,
As long as there's hope, we'll never give
okay.
up!
Okay,
If I were to die, that would
I like
be
that the main
end of
music's
Hope's
on,
Peak
okay.
Academy.
I've decided to have faith in myself.
By the way, the air outside is totally polluted, you know. The only reason we're okay in here is thanks to the air purifiers in the physics lab.
Say whatever you want. I've made my decision.
If I die, the purifiers will screech to a halt. In other words, as soon as I die, the communal life you've all been living will come to an end.
I can keep on living as long as I have my master's love.
All of you will have to leave. You'll have to go into the world outside, where only death and despair are waiting.
I already said I would claim the mastermind's life, by whatever means necessary.
So, what are you gonna do? we just die? Is that what you want?
Thank you!
Don't lose hope now!
I didn't really know my father, so I can't pretend to know what he was thinking.
I would like to retract my pissiness from earlier. It's just that the game, for whatever reason, was leaving her until last. Okay, I'm fine. It's all good. Thank you, Kyoko, for having one time where Makoto actually inspired you.
But even if we're just connected by blood, there's one thing I am sure of. He would never want us to abandon Makoto and choose to stay here.
Thank you for finally having his back after using him this entire fucking time.
I can't explain why exactly. But if I'm sure of anything, I'm sure of that. Just because we don't actually know anything, does that mean we can't understand? Could it be that... No, never mind. So, Makoto, I don't think you wound up at this school because you had good luck or bad luck. I think you came here for a different reason entirely. You came here to bring down the ultimate despair. You came here to confront despair without ever giving up.
Despite all of the shit you hoes have put me through.
And if that's true, I think we could call you the ultimate hope. What do you think?
I'm just salty. This speech would be so much cooler if it were coming from any other character besides Kyoko. That is just my personal preference, though.
What the...
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, love.
What the hell are you?
The ultimate hope, apparently. Oh, the ultimate hope has been added to the truth bullets section of your handbook.
So uncool. Your stupid faces, the stupid things you've said, the stupid way you all treat each other. It's all so uncool, so unhip. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up! Lame, 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 lame!
I'm not any kind of elite anything. Hope isn't a talent you develop, but still. But I still... No, not this!
You suck! What do you want? So uncool! You dare to stand against us? Hope is a joke. Outside is only despair. Your idiocy ends here. You're gross. You're scared, aren't you?
I just love despair!
You suck! What do you want? So uncool!
You're unbearable!
Okay.
Despair into tomorrow.
Hope keeps on going!
Suck it!
I refuse to give up! I refuse to get bored! I refuse to throw it all away! I refuse to despair! Because all I have going for me is the desire to keep moving forward!
You still have so much more going for you!
What's going on?
What's happening?
And there we go. There we go! Oh, that one bee. A-rank, it was... I'm so upset! Literally, I knew what the game wanted, but I got it in the wrong order. Oh! And 120 coins for no random reason.
It looks like we've reached the end. I think it may be time to vote.
We just gotta pull the lever, right?
Good. I'm ready to go.
Let's put an end to these trials. Put an end to the killing. With our own hands.
The hell?
Indeed.
You've lost, Junko.
I lost?
I lost? Me? No way!
Well, that's just...
It can't be! You still don't accept it? Even the ultimate despair herself is vulnerable to the onslaught of despair, it would seem.
What the heck?
But there's no use trying to fight it now!
Well, that's just... totally the best!
Oh. That face. Huh?
So this is despair.
Yeah. She's gonna experience ultimate despair. Why wouldn't that turn her on? This? This is despair? We came to this school 2 years ago, created our incredibly detailed plan. I even killed my own sister for it.
And now
To come this far and fail at the very end.
true despair.
It's the most ultimate despair. What are you talking about?
And now
Don't you see? I was so hopelessly desperate. I was bored of the world the moment I was born. That's why I've been looking forward to this so desperately. This once-in-a-lifetime experience. It's my first and last colossal despair here at the moment of death. To have the chance to taste the highest grade despair, the utter failure of my dreams.
true despair.
I'm so hopelessly happy right now.
Huh?
Wait, is she enjoying this?
Anyway,
So are you prepared to admit defeat? You think I care whether I won or lost? Either way, it doesn't change a thing.
Totally the best!
Outside is only despair. Inside is only despair. No matter where you go, despair awaits you. That's not true.
Not possible.
You're wrong. Huh?
Don't make me repeat myself.
Let me tell you this right now. We no longer fear despair.
Okay.
Because we've decided to enter the outside world with hope. Yeah, Makoto totally seduced us over to his side. Is it bad? I'm like, now that he has a proper ultimate, now they're all treating him with respect. But when he was just lucky, oh no, he was the doormat. But oh no, shit, he's actually an ultimate? Oh yeah, Makoto's the best now. I'm like, guys, I fucking hate you. I'll accept that one. Everyone. Fuck the lot of you. Say it, Makoto, say it. This is your last chance.
hey,
You said that despair is as contagious as any disease.
however,
But the same is true of hope. All you have to do is look at us to see how true that is. No, because I have absolutely no hope when I look at you, Kyoko. Kyoko! Blech. Blech. He threw up in a corner.
No.
Ah, stop it! Stop it! I hate those faces you're making! To see those awful looks causes me nothing but pain.
There's one last thing.
Fine. Let me just say one last thing. If you guys want to get all hung up on the word hope, that's no skin off my nose. But just be warned. From this point on, one despair after another will stand in your way. No matter where you run, no matter where you hide. Maybe you'll find some hope, but there is a very fine line dividing that hope from bitter despair. Knowing that, you still plan to cling to your hope? Of course, because we...
It's fine.
Shut up, shut up, that was a rhetorical question. You interrupted my monologue. I'm almost done though, so whatever. Because it's almost punishment time, right?
It can't be.
Do you really intend to go through with this? Yeah, she wants to die. She wants to experience ultimate despair. That was the agreement, right? Hold on. It's not like I want you to die. You don't have to.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
What?
How many times do I have to tell you?
The act of living brings me no hope at all. All I want now is to taste that despair of death that you only get once in a life. So...
Don't get in my way!
Oh shit. I'ma grab that.
So this is how the despair of death feels. It's so wonderful. Even a tenth of this despair, even 100th. I want every last soul on this planet to taste such despair. I want the entire world to die with that despair in its mouth. Okay, let's do this. I've reserved an extra special punishment for last. Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time!
Congratulations, Junko has been found guilty. Time for the punishment. And she just walks off with him. Jesus. The ultimate punishment. The 1,000 blows. The cage of death. The burning of the Versailles witch. Excavator destroyer. Blast off. After school lesson. And that's how everything came to an end. The final class trial. Junko Enoshima, the ultimate despair. Life at Hope's Peak Academy. It was all over. Chapter 6. The end. You received the Monokuma hair tie present. I'm good. I'm good. But even after saying it was all over, it's not like the building exploded or collapsed in on itself or anything. That wasn't the kind of ending awaiting for us. Nothing changed. Well, with one exception. The air purifiers turned off. Just like Junko said. They shut off immediately. That was the only difference. Goodbye, Despair High School epilogue. Got so many good options for thumbnails. We left the courtroom and made our way to the main hall. We stood in front of the door. Nobody made a sound. I felt almost absent-minded. This was our epilogue before the final ending. We were stuck there in limbo, unmoving, unsure. But, in the end...
Hey.
Of course, and Kyoko is the one to make the first move because she's the main character. I'm determined to be salty until the bitter end. I'm determined. We can't just stand around like this forever. At some point, we need to leave. To nobody's surprise, because she's the main character, it was Kyoko who broke the silence.
Makoto.
Makoto, would you do the honors? Okay. As if awakened by Kyoko's words, I took out the object we'd gotten. Up until the moment of her death, it had belonged to Junko. And in the end, she dropped it before us.
So,
But is that really it? Is that really the key to this door?
Indeed.
You don't have to read into what she said too much to find the answer.
If, on the other hand, you desire to see us punished, then you must all leave this place.
I will force you out, ensuring you all die horrible deaths in the outside world.
In other words...
I will force you out, she said that, just before dropping that. It makes sense that it would be our way out of here.
But
you never know! Maybe it's actually a switch that's gonna make the school self-destruct! I mean, Junko never said specifically that she'd let us leave here alive!
It's true.
You may be right about that. Maybe!
Yes.
But even so, it's impossible to think we wouldn't take our chances with it. Yeah, I guess that's true. There's nothing to worry about!
My beautiful scissors!
If something ever happened to Master, I'd take my scissors and jam them so far up! Hey, Toko. Huh? Hey, where's the courtroom? Where's the mastermind? It's all over. We're just about to leave the school. What? Leave? We can go outside? Then that means me and Master can get married? No. God damn. And then he'll give me a little jewel of a baby?
That's enough.
I love it. Just please stop. God damn. Please stop. That would be a greater horror than anything I've encountered so far.
Anyway,
don't worry. I have no doubt that we'll be able to leave here without a problem.
but...
It's what happens after we get out that I'm worried about. But, you know, in the end, I think part of me still thinks...
For serious?
Maybe when we get out there, we'll see that everything she said about the world was a lie. That on the other side of this door is a world as peaceful as we remember. A lie. Peaceful as we remember. Well, no matter what it looks like, it's still our world. It's where we're meant to live. Yeah, I guess so. And how do I put this? Unlike this school, the world is really big, right? Since it's so big, I'm sure there must be some despair no matter what. But there also has to be lots of hope, right?
In other words,
The act of searching for hope, to try and find it, that by itself is the true meaning of hope. As long as you have that hope, you can keep moving forward no matter what trouble you may fall into.
am I wrong?
Is that what you mean, Makoto? He can speak for himself. He doesn't need you to say what he means. He can speak for himself. Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. I don't need any of you to spell that out for me. You know, Junko mentioned that there were still others out there who hadn't cast away hope just yet. Maybe I should try to find them and make them work for me. To rebuild the world, we must first rebuild the Togami dynasty. Byakuya already thinking with his penis. I'll go with you. I'll follow you anywhere you want to go.
You got it.
Well, my first stop is gonna be the closest donut shop. I can figure out the rest from there.
Hey.
And what are you gonna do if there are no more donut shops? Or donuts?
Okay.
I'll just get some flour and make them myself. And if there's no flour, I'll just grow some wheat. Oh, I get it now. If there's no road, you just gotta build one. Creation. Fate is telling me to remake the world.
Could it be?
That's my hope.
How about that?
I've reached the next stage. The next chapter of Yasuhiro Hagakure's life story is about to begin.
Woo!
Thanks, Hina. You've totally opened my eyes.
Oh!
Hey, personal space, buddy! You're seriously creeping me out.
Makoto.
Come on, Makoto. Even if everyone in the outside world is gone, even if the world is steeped in despair. No, bitch! No! We are ditching you the first chance we get! No. We were only hanging out with you because there were walls and bricked off windows preventing us. As soon as we get out of here, Makoto is leaving, he punches her in the face, and he runs the fuck away. That is my headcanon. That is my headcanon. As long as I have people like you around, I can face forward and keep moving. If we can get out of there... What? If we can get out of there? Oh, if we can get out there. Sorry, I was misreading that. If we can get out there and do something, have some sort of impact. But what can we do? There's so few of us and we're so small. So what can we do? No. We can probably do anything. Yeah, we can do anything!
Well, I guess this is goodbye. And goodbye to Sakura. But hey, if we gotta say goodbye, we may as well do it with a smile on our face.
Hey guys! You guys want your fortunes told anywhere, anytime. You just let me know. I'll be there.
You know how much I hate being annoyed, but if something does come up, you may as well let me know. I can't guarantee I'll actually bother listening, but, you know.
Aw, improvement.
I don't know why, but I have a burning desire to start writing. I might be able to pull it off. A story about Master and me, and the others, I guess.
I can't say I'm sorry about what happened, but still, it does feel kind of strange.
Fuck you.
I really don't know what to say.
Say fuck you to Kyoko! This is your last chance! I got mine in there! You could do it too, Makoto!
I guess we graduated?
So many good options! It looks like hope really is spreading. As long as I never give up. I have to push even harder. I'm going to keep moving forward with hope in my heart. Since I have hope, I can show courage. Since I have hope, I can move ahead. The world can move ahead. The door began to open. With my hands, with our hands. Hope and despair mingled together, opening the door to the future. Hello. Oh no.
Interesting. Things are getting very interesting indeed. Like I said at the beginning, I'm not a teddy bear. I am Monokuma. And I am this school's headmaster.
Oh shit! You received the Easter egg present! Okay! And there we go. That was the finale for Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. I really enjoyed myself with this. I'm really glad that my fiance convinced me to give this game a go. This has also been the longest game I've ever played blind in a very long time. I don't often play long games blind, but again, I'm very happy that I did. So what are my thoughts? Well, I'm going to go over my pros and cons, and to finish off the Let's Play, I have actually made a tier list of the characters. I've never actually made a tier list before. I don't watch tier list videos, so if I do it in a bit of an odd way, my apologies in advance. Alrighty then, I think I'm going to get started with the negatives first. I did enjoy most of my time with this game, however, there were a couple of things that really made me uncomfortable. First off, Toko and Genocide Jill. Split personalities, it's a pretty common trope in mysteries, however, just because it is common doesn't mean that it should be common. This was an incredibly offensive portrayal of DID, and honestly, I don't think it should have been in the game at all. It was very lazy writing, and I'm sure they could have come up with something a bit more nuanced. There was also the schizo thing in one of the Hangman's Gambits. Now, it was pointed out to me in the comments that they could have meant schizo as in the Greek meaning, which is split, rather than the slur for schizophrenics. Now, if that is the case, then I do owe Spike a bit of an apology. However, considering everything surrounding that Hangman's Gambit, I think that was a very easy mistake to make. They are doing this incredibly offensive portrayal of mental illness, so why wouldn't they have a slur in there for good measure too? As I said, I just don't think that Toko and Genocide Jill should have been in the game. Maybe if Toko hadn't have had DID, then keep her in, but just, it shouldn't have been there. It really shouldn't have been there. Then there was Chihiro, and I think that whole situation could have been handled way better. Gender identity is a very sensitive subject, and I think it should be handled with a certain level of respect and dignity, and there just wasn't any of that here. It was a simple bait and switch, something to shock the audience, and I don't think that's right. You know, transgender people aren't there to be shocking. That's bullshit. And if I'm being honest, this whole situation, it attracts a certain kind of person. Like, you have no idea how many people I've had to block because they were leaving rude comments on the videos of Chihiro's trial, just saying, "Oh, you're such an idiot. How could you mistake Chihiro for one of those?" Insert slur here. One, don't use that type of language in my comment section because I'm just going to delete your comment and ban you. Secondly, this is a blind playthrough. I'm reacting to what the game is showing from what I've seen online. I'm not the only one who's confused about Chihiro. By making Chihiro's gender into something shocking, I really worry that it encourages behaviours and thoughts that we should be trying to challenge. It should have been handled better. And then the last negative on my list would be Chapter 4. I hated it. I hated the beginning of Chapter 4 so much. That is the only time I've genuinely found myself thinking, you know what, I should cancel this Let's Play. I was miserable. Completely and utterly miserable. And but for the fact that I love the class trials and the investigation phase, then I would have cancelled the LP right then and there. I think the reason why I hated it was because chapter 4 was the most anime of chapters, if you know what I mean. There was like constant drama and misunderstandings and everyone's fighting, and I'm just really not about that life. I can't be arsed with that. And on to the good things. I absolutely loved the mysteries, looking for clues and putting them all together. It was so good. That has to be hands down my favourite thing about this game. And if I'm being honest, of all the mystery games I have played, I think this was the best. Because they were good mysteries. The clues were scattered throughout. Like, sometimes you'll have a mystery and the clue that kind of clinches everything is only revealed a minute before the end. But Danganronpa never did that. Everything was pretty easy to follow along, and you could figure things out pretty early into the cases, to be honest. I had so much fun with the cases. And I think the characters were all really good too, excluding Toko, who was problematic. All of the other characters were very well written and very compelling. Like, even Kyoko, no matter how much I despise her, I can admit that she is a very compelling character. I have actually looked into Kyoko's backstory. I'm recording this bit a couple of days after I finish the game. Ugh, holy shit. Knowing her backstory makes her behaviour so much more understandable. It still doesn't excuse it. If you go through trauma, you're still responsible for your actions and you should still apologise when you do something wrong. But knowing that she was basically kidnapped makes so much of her behaviour make sense. I actually want to talk about the headmaster for a minute. This is only something I realised afterwards. Not only was Kyoko's dad a good dad, he was the best dad. And we know that because of something Kyoko writes. In her pocketbook, she says something to the effect of, he's come up with this plan without asking anyone for their input, could there be a worse father? Now, you might be thinking, well, how does that prove Mr. Kirigiri was a good dad? Doesn't it kind of prove the opposite? Think about it. Kyoko is the ultimate detective. She'll have worked so many different types of cases over her life, including kidnappings. She will have met parents who have had their children taken from them. If she knew her father was one such person, do you really think she'd be saying he was a terrible father? Because I don't think so. So if she's still using that language, what does that tell us? It tells us that Mr. Kirigiri didn't tell Kyoko the truth. Because can you imagine what that would do to her? Her entire life has been a lie. Her grandfather, the man she looks up to and admires, who raised her to be just like him, is no better than the criminal she hunts. Her family allowed her to feel like an abandoned child, all of them knowing that they had kidnapped her, because her feeling like that suited them better than her knowing the truth about her father. Like, that would majorly fuck with her head. So Mr. Kirigiri must have decided that his daughter's happiness was more important to him than him being venerated. Kyoko didn't have a good dad. She had the best dad. And she will never know that. And that is so incredibly sad. On the whole, I love this game. Yeah, there were some blips. However, I had a lot of fun with this. Okie doke, and now on to the tier list. Okay, so I went from S tier, which is, the best, all the way down to F. F tier I would describe as, I originally wanted to call it tier go suck a dick and die, however I figured that was a bit violent, so I went for, F tier. I'm sure you can guess. I'm sure you can guess who this is. It's Kyoko and Makoto. I despised the pair of them. Kyoko, I had such high hopes for Kyoko when I knew that she was the ultimate detective, because if you remember, I knew that from the start. That was something that my fiance had spoiled for me, and knowing that she was the ultimate detective, I thought she was going to take on this mentor figure, and she was going to teach Makoto, you know, how to detect and all of that, and she never did any of that. She treated Makoto like a doormat. She was incredibly toxic and abusive, and she never apologized for anything she did, presumably because she never saw anything wrong with what she did, which I find even worse. To treat someone like she treated Makoto and to not think there was anything wrong with that. I found her despicable. I found her absolutely despicable. And the fact that she showed no remorse about any of it. Because she never apologized. She kind of acknowledged that what she had done to Makoto was bad, but then she proceeded to justify it. And I find her disgusting. Like I said, go suck a dick and die. That is how I feel about Kyoko. And Makoto is on there too, because he was completely spineless. Throughout the entire game, he was completely spineless. He didn't show any emotional growth. And he just wasn't anything. He was a doormat, yes, but like I think I said this either in this episode or the one before, but he is what the plot needed him to be. When they needed him to be a doormat, he was a doormat. When they needed him to have a spine, he suddenly had a spine despite showing no indications that he ever had one. It was incredibly frustrating. I would have much rather had, let's say, a character like Mondo as the main character, who was really angry and was punching things and like doing shit where I'd be like, Mondo, what are you doing? Like, don't do that, that's stupid. But at least Mondo would have had a personality. At least we would have been playing as someone who had a personality and would have, you know, considering like Mondo started off like punching shit and being really aggressive. Like, how do I put this? If Mondo had been the main character, then I guarantee he would have had this arc where he learned to control his emotions and not react so aggressively. Nothing like that ever happened to Makoto. He was only what the plot required him to be. Okie doke, moving on to E tier, we have Hero and Genocide Jill. Hero, I didn't hate Hero, I thought he was funny. However, he was also completely useless throughout the entire game. He never really did anything of value, and he was so incredibly dense. And it just... I think what got me is that Hero, throughout pretty much all of the game, he had this... I wouldn't exactly call it a holier-than-thou attitude, but like he definitely thought like, oh, I'd never attempt to kill anyone, I'm a good person, I'd never do anything dodgy. And then he grabbed a bottle and smacked it over the head of an unarmed woman. Yes, she was the ultimate martial artist, but like she didn't have a weapon in her hand. She was sat down, facing away from him, and he smacked that bottle over her head so hard that it shattered. Which means he must have put an incredible force behind that swing, because here's the thing, if you whack someone over the head with a glass bottle, it'll hurt them, probably won't break the glass, because glass, it's not like it is in films, they use sugar glass, it's extremely thin. Real glass, it's quite thick. Like, you can smack stuff with a glass bottle and it might not break, it might crack a bit, but it won't break. So the fact that he was able to shatter what looked like a pretty thick bottle over Sakura's head means that he put some serious force into that. And he showed guilt for all of 2 minutes. Until he thought that like, oh, I didn't kill her. Yay, I'm innocent. La 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 la. Like, and he never showed any regret or guilt. Like, he kind of, as soon as he realized he wasn't responsible for Sakura's death, that's where the guilt stopped. It's like, you still assaulted someone. You still committed grievous bodily harm. Like, why aren't you even slightly guilty? And that's kind of why he's there. He was useless, and despite his, like, oh, I'm a good person attitude, he was very quick to assault a fellow student and then act as though he did nothing wrong. Genocide Jill. I didn't hate her as much as I hated Kyoko or Makoto. However, that line in the final episode, oh, you saw me unconscious, you must have been getting really horny. No, you go and eat here. Goodbye, no thank you. D tier, Toko, Sayaka, and Leon. Toko, I didn't really like her. Again, she was a very meh character. She was super negative. She was also someone that didn't really do much, but at least there were a couple of times where she brought up a good point. And Sayaka and Leon, they're D tier because they died, like, immediately. I didn't really get to know them, so I don't really have an opinion of them, and I don't hate them like I do anyone on E or F tier. D tier is like a general disliking. I would say disliking or indifference. C tier, Hifumi, Mondo, and Celeste. Hifumi's an odd one, because I will admit I judged Hifumi rather harshly. I took one look at him and I thought, oh god, this is a nice guy. This is a nice guy incel. And he was a little bit. Like, I think everyone can acknowledge Hifumi was a little bit of a nice guy, you know, with how he reacted to the you know, some of the girls, especially Celeste. However, in the last few minutes he was on screen, and I'm talking specifically about the flashback where Celeste went to him and claimed that Taka had abused her. Like, he reacted extremely well. If you get what I'm saying, this, like, if he were like a traditional nice guy incel, and this girl coming and saying, hi, I've been abused by this guy, you'd expect their reaction to be like, ew, you're sullied goods, get away from me, whore, you were asking for it. Like, you'd expect something like that. And instead, he's completely like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I can't believe this has happened to you, are you okay? We've got to stop him, oh my god, this guy, what an arsehole. Like, he was a gentleman, kind of. And I respect that. I respect that a lot. Like, in his last few moments, I found myself really appreciating Hifumi in a way that I hadn't throughout the rest of the game, because I'd kind of been profiling him as this incel. So, like, yeah, Hifumi was kind of an odd one for me. He didn't have any moments where I was like, oh, I love this guy. But as the game went along, I kind of realized, oh shit, maybe I've been judging him really harshly just because of his appearance. Like, that's shit. I've been being a shitty person to Hifumi for no reason. So yeah, Hifumi, I salute you, Hifumi. You were better than I thought you were. Mondo grew on me. I really didn't like Mondo at the beginning because he was so aggressive and violent and quick to anger. But his interactions with Taka and Chihiro, like I said, he grew on me. He bloomed like a flower, and I would have liked to see him go further. I'm quite sad that he went out at the second trial. Celeste was manipulative, just a shitty person, a shitty person. She was terrible. To accuse Taka of raping her and then manipulating Hifumi into this double murder without Hifumi realizing the double is you, mate. I feel like I should hate Celeste, however, she was the ultimate gambler. Like, I think the reason why I don't is because, like, just her ultimate title, you're like, she's a liar. You know she's a liar from the get-go. You know she's probably going to be deceptive and manipulative. So that's why she isn't lower. I did like Celeste. The scenes where she was intriguing. I really wish I had spent more time with Celeste, because I think I would have liked to get to know her better. B tier, we have Aoi and Mukuro. Aoi did lose bonus points for me in Chapter 4 when she was just assuming Makoto had been a pervert when there was absolutely no reason why she should think that. She did lose a lot of points with me. However, how she behaved in Sakura's trial, she won back a fair amount of respect. I always sort of liked Hina. Admittedly, that could be because she hung out with Sakura, and Sakura was my favourite character, but I kind of had a little bit of a sweet spot for Hina, but she was never really one of my favourites. And Mukuro's kind of an awkward one, because we never really knew her. We never knew her as Mukuro, we knew her as Junko. However, every scene that she was in as Junko, I really liked her. I liked that she was so sassy and forward, but how much of that was Mukuro and how much of that was Mukuro putting on a performance, I really couldn't say. So I couldn't put her any higher because I didn't know what was genuine and what was fake, but I felt bad putting her lower because I couldn't ever pinpoint a scene where she was in it and I thought like, oh, you're being melodramatic, why are you acting like that? Like, do you get what I'm saying? She's in that kind of awkward position where I'm like, you're quite high up on my list, but like, it's like she was only in the game for like 30 minutes or something. Like, she probably should have been lower, but I couldn't pinpoint a single negative trait that I saw. I simply couldn't. So that's why she's in B tier. A tier. Now I think this is the weirdest tier, because if you had asked me who would be in my A tier at the beginning of the game, I don't think any of these characters would have been in it. For A tier, we have Byakuya, Taka, Junko, and Monokuma. Byakuya... I absolutely hated Byakuya, but it wasn't like Kyoko. Byakuya I loved to hate. He was such a dick, but it was fun hating him. And like I said, he was the only character that seemed to have positive emotional growth. None of the others did, and I can't explain it. Over the course of the game, I found myself loving him. I feel kind of dirty putting him in A tier, but I couldn't place him any lower. He was one of the few things that got me through Chapter 4. Byakuya being Byakuya when all of the other characters were acting very out of character. Like, Byakuya got me through Chapter 4, plain and simple. Taka, I liked Taka. I just found him very funny and very tragic towards the end of his life. But at the beginning, you know how much of a stickler he was for the rules, and I always loved voicing him. I always loved doing the voice for him because I'd find myself doing these movements, swinging my arm around and pointing off into the distance. It was a lot of fun. And he had such a tragic end when he became Kyondo and kind of lost himself. Like, I just felt so badly for him. Junko, this might sound weird, I really liked her. I really liked her appearance. She was very funny. She was rather unhinged, don't get me wrong. I don't think she was a good person. I didn't like her because she was a good person. But she was entertaining. Every time she was on screen, I couldn't not watch. She had such presence, and I really liked that. Same with Monokuma. Every time he was on screen, I wanted to listen to him. I wanted to see what he had to say, and he was funny. Yes, he was an incredible pervert, but like, he was also very funny. And that leaves us with S tier. And again, you should know who's on S tier. My babies, Chihiro and Sakura. I loved the pair of them. I absolutely loved the pair of them. They made my heart sing. They were some of my favourite characters I've encountered in a video game in a very long time. I salute them, I blow them kisses. They were simply fabulous. I cannot put into words how much I loved them. Okie doke. And with that, I think I've said everything I wanted to say. This is going to be a very long episode. My apologies. Well, that's it for Danganronpa, which means I will be getting started on Dragon Age Inquisition. Just to remind you, for anyone who's like, but what about Danganronpa 2? I will be doing Danganronpa 2 after I have finished Life is Strange Season 1, and it will be going back into a secondary slot. Danganronpa was never meant to be a primary series. It was just because of the confusion with, getting a new computer and all of that. That's kind of the only reason it was ever a primary series. So when I'm doing Danganronpa 2, it will be a secondary Let's Play. So, until next time, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Kallista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.